I don't know what people were expecting. I see people going out of their way right now to shit all over this free agent period, and I don't think it's fair. Now, you guys know, once again, I will reiterate a point that I feel like I've now made 2 episodes in a row. I don't carry water for the organization. I certainly don't try to blow smoke. When this team screws up, I tell you they screw up. When this team does well, I tell you the team does well. I try to be fair, right? I don't know what people were expecting today. I see people tweeting all day, don't love that signing, don't love that money, don't love this, don't love that. Bunch of scrubs. Oh, we're going back for the lottery next year, huh? We want Gavin McKenna. All right, I guess I can live with one more bad year for Gavin McKenna. I don't think that their plan right now is to have a bad season again, end up in the lottery, and be in the sweepstakes for Gavin McKenna. Now, anything can happen. Injuries can happen. Injuries in goal could certainly happen, which, by the way, is probably where I'm the most concerned right now. Because I've been saying now for a while, hey, I think the Flyers are going to make the playoffs next year. I do. I think Briere is going to do enough to get them in the playoffs. After seeing this free agent frenzy, that wasn't much of a frenzy, I don't feel quite as good about that as I did like a day ago. I thought the Flyers were going to get more actively involved. I thought the Flyers were going to make a bigger move at goal, which was going to keep them out of the draft lottery. I still am not convinced they're going to end up in the lottery. I still think that on the surface right now, this team is still better than last year's team. And I will also point out the fact that I think this team is going to play better, and enjoy might be a little bit of a tough word to use, but will certainly be more open to year one of Rick Tocchet than they were the end of the John Tortorella tenure. For whatever that's worth, I think the team is going to be better. I don't think that they're going to end up in the lottery. So I don't know how this got misconstrued. Chris Fried was saying, Russ, you were saying the Flyers would not be in the lottery yesterday. I don't think they will be. The move and goal is a little bit tricky. And so we could start there. Dan Vladar gets signed from the Calgary Flames. And if you look at his numbers on the surface, they're not impressive. An .898 save percentage, a 2.8 goals against average. He did manage to technically go hockey 500, like over hockey 500, 12, 11, and 6. Although if you add all that up, it's 12 and 17. I'd like to live in the world where like a loss is a loss, but I digress. A Flames team that didn't make the playoffs, made a little bit of a run down the stretch, could have potentially made the playoffs. He served as a backup. Now, those numbers on the surface aren't that impressive, but I can take you to a place where I look and I say, you know what? His end of the season was actually considerably better than what the numbers might otherwise tell you. And here are some numbers that maybe will make you feel a little bit better. Last March, he started 5 games, had a 2.34 goals against, and a .910 save percentage. Doesn't knock your socks off. He went 3-1-0 in those starts. In February, he only started 2 games, a 1.5 goals against, a .948 save percentage. The thing that maybe makes you feel just a little bit better, just a wee bit better, is that when he had the opportunity to sit out for 3 or more games, right, which is what he's brought in here to be. He's only ever played 30 games in the NHL one time. They're not bringing him in to be a 50-50 starter with Sam Ersson. Now, if Ersson gets hurt again, it's a totally different scenario, and we might look back on this and say this was catastrophic. But when he had 3 or more days of rest, he had a 2.55 goals against, and a .907 save percentage. These are not otherworldly numbers. These are not even great numbers, but they are acceptable for a backup goalie. And if Sam Ersson is going to prove whether or not he's the guy, this is his last chance. Danny said in this presser, and he has said in other pressers in the last few months, there's going to be competition in that goalie room. There has to be. Ivan Fedotov will be in the AHL next year, barring injury. Will be. Will get put on waivers. No one will take him because of the contract. He will be your starter in Lehigh Valley. Not honestly the worst thing in the world, especially with the amount of young guys, young prospects that they think have a path to the NHL. While he wasn't a particularly good or great NHL starter, he should do just fine in the AHL. Kolosov, no one knows. right? It feels like every other day, every other week, you're seeing Kolosov wants to go back and play for Dynamo Minsk. Unlikely. I don't think that the KHL is going to be thrilled with the team if they break this kind of like unwritten rule now that KHL teams aren't supposed to sign NHL players who are under contract, the same way that NHL teams aren't supposed to sign KHL players who are under KHL contract. There's kind of a tacit acknowledgement that won't happen. So Kolosov is either going to have to like report to Flyers camp and presumably to the Phantoms, or he's just not going to play unless a KHL team is willing to take that step, which would be kind of weird. Now, will Kolosov end up with the Phantoms? Who knows? Will he end up with the Royals? Who the hell knows? Will he end up back in the KHL? Unlikely, but who knows, right? They have Bjarnason in the system. They have Zavragin, who's going to be playing another season in the KHL, who was outstanding, especially given his age last year. And now you have brought in Vladar, who everybody's making the joke, Dan Vladar, Darth Vladar. He's not a great goalie. He's here on a 2-year deal. Why? One, you would assume that this means that the Flyers are going to essentially tell Sam Ersson, this is the last chance. You want to make the case that you can be a number one netminder in this league. This is the last chance. You can't have 3-4 stints on IL like you did last year. You can't constantly have these groin issues. Now, it's not like he controls it. It's not like he just goes, I think I'm going to hurt my groin today. No. He has to be able to prove that he can be available and play well as the number one netminder. And if he doesn't, maybe we're having a very different conversation around who's in goal for the Flyers next year. Maybe. Doesn't mean they would bring over Zavragin for the 26-27 season. I'm not sure I'd go that far. But they have guys in the system that they feel pretty confident in. So I can't be upset with Vladar's contract. I can't. What's there to be upset about? Oh, it's a 2-year deal. Oh, no. Fedotov comes off the books after this season. Totally fine. 3.35 AAV for a backup. It's okay. If he can give you somewhere around a 900 save percentage and he plays 25-ish games as the backup, you'll feel pretty good about it. He's not incredible. He's certainly an upgrade over Kolosov. He certainly seems like a more consistent upgrade over Fedotov. If Ersson can be healthy and play anything like even a 1A or a guy who needs to be in a tandem but is like better than last year and certainly not as injured as last year, the Flyers team should be better as a whole, like on the whole, and should actually have a chance to make the playoffs.